it's Nicole Norris, and I am so excited to be back for another collaboration with my good friend Kimberly Sparks. This is our fourth month. It's April, so this is our fourth month doing this, and it has been so much fun. I am so inspired by Kimberly and all that she creates. She's a beautiful artist and so talented. And it has been so fun to do this collaboration with her and to get to know her better in doing this collaboration with her. So just to catch you up, if you're new to our YouTube channels, Kimberly and I went through the 52 Scrapbooking Project Recipes book that Creative Memories put out. It was a promotional book that they put out last year, the end of last year. And we have picked 12 layout sketches, recipes, whatever you want to call them, sketches, layouts, recipes, it's recipes, to work with. And we do one each month. And it's very simple. Like as far as we've picked the recipe, we both use the same recipe, but after that, what we do with it is totally independent and up to us. What products we use, whether we rotate, add, subtract, anything we do with the recipe, it's totally up to us. We can use Creative Memories products. We can use products from our stash. I always try to use something from my stash because I like to use up things from my stash and be using it. And it's been super fun. And honestly, like, it is crazy to see that we both start with the same sketch and we both end up in totally different places. But it just shows the versatility of the sketches. So let me show you what sketch we're working with this month. We are using project recipe number 8. I actually really like this sketch. It's got some great flow to it. I love these circles, these half circles on the layout. I like the pictures. I actually really like this sketch, and I could see myself following this sketch, not exactly, but I could see myself kind of keeping pretty close to the layout of this sketch actually. This one's one of my favorite ones in the book. So let's take a closer look at what we got here. We've got the sample layout. It's using the Passport to Adventure collection, which is such a fun travel collection. They have 5 photos, but there's a 6 photo spot. So they're kind of a little bit different sizes. So this is a 3 3/4 by 5.5 vertical, and then they have 2 horizontal photo spots, and they're 5.5 by 3.5. And then we've got 3.5 by 4.25 photo spots across here. They're also vertical. These 2 are horizontal. In the example, they have put journaling, like a journaling mat card, in one of the photo spots. And then it looks like, as far as paper's concerned, I will tell you one thing I'll definitely change is how I map my photos. I don't like a photo on pattern paper. I prefer a photo to have some sort of mat, even if it's like a really tiny one, like a 16th inch or an 1/8 inch mat. So I definitely will be matting my photos. They've used the same pattern paper as their mats for these 3 photos, as well as the pattern paper back here. So I'm definitely going to be switching that out just because although I like the layering that they did with the pattern papers, and I think the patterns that they chose to layer are really nice, I don't want my photos on a pattern paper. I want it on a cardstock or a solid. I think it just helps the photo pop a little bit better. It's okay because their photos don't have a lot. They're not super busy in the background, but I just don't like the look of that photo not being matted. And this one, I don't like it on that pattern paper. And especially when I look at the paper that I'm planning on using, it's a little bit busier of a pattern paper, so I'm definitely going to want some photo mats there. Other than that, I actually kind of like what they've done. The only other thing that I think would be kind of nice is see how across here they've got where this is kind of framing, and then it comes across and they tie it in over here, but this piece is longer than this piece, or like the height of the piece. And I think I would want this piece to be the same height as this piece, not the same height as this piece K. So basically I want piece J to be the same height as this and not match the same height this cage. So it creates this same little look on this side. So I could see myself changing that as well. Okay, and then I like the pieces up and above and below it. And then they've used a punch here. I don't know that I'll be using a punch. We're going to see what we've got here. So anyways, great foundation to start with for sure. And then we're going to go from there. All right, let me show you what pictures I have. So for my layout, I actually have some pictures. This is in our basement, and my husband loves to play pool. And a couple of years ago, after we'd moved into our new house, I had been watching Facebook Classifieds, and I found this beautiful cherry wood pool table that was for sale, and I ended up getting it for like $400 and had it refelted and moved, professionally moved and everything. And like seriously out the door done, $400 for everything. And it has been so fun because my kids love to play pool. I enjoy playing pool. My husband loves to play pool. My son actually he's been taking some pool classes at college. Does kind of he's an engineering major, so he needs like a class that's like for fun and easy, and he loves to play. So I have these pictures of my husband and my daughter playing pool. And I think I'm trying to think of when this came out. There was a collection that came out that when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this, because we are big card players and we play pool. And this collection is like all game night. I think that's what Fun and Games is what it's called. And it's got some really fun title stickers. There's actually an axe throwing one, which is fun because my daughter works at an axe throwing place, and we went there for my husband's birthday. So I'm gonna have to remember that that's in here when I scrapbook those pictures. So we've got some fun card titles in here. It doesn't look like there's a shooting pool. There is one title that kind of has to do with pool. A lot of them have to do with cards. Okay, and then we've got these borders. Ooh, I love that border, and even this one is fun. This one will be great. We play, like I said, we play a lot of cards, so this is going to be so good. You can see why I was drawn to this collection. We don't drink, so obviously these don't really appeal to me. I won't use those. But I do like some of these icons and the balls, and so there's in the pool sticks. So I think there's some fun stickers that will be great for accessorizing my layout. And then I've got the paper packet that is also called Fun and Games. Okay, so what have we got here? So this is a mini pack. It's 6 sheets of double-sided. So I love this dot paper. That's fun. And then there's this side of it that's got their pool sticks. I don't know that I love this side because I feel like they're kind of hard images to see. They don't like, I don't know. Anyways, maybe, but I definitely like that polka dot. We've got this fun stripe, which matches, I think, you see that stripe on the sticker sheet, that border one. Yeah, right there, okay. And then the back side of that one is cards, which I definitely want to save this paper for some layouts when we're playing cards, because we do play a lot of cards here. And then we've got this yellow. That's nice. Okay, and then we have this piece, which really is going to be my hero paper. So I do like these two together. Yellows and blues always are really pretty. I definitely am going to steer clear of using this paper because I definitely want to save that for pictures of us playing cards. There is this little stripe on it, but I don't love the stripe with this paper. So I probably won't use either of those sheets. I really feel like these pool sticks, like they're kind of, I don't know, I don't love that piece, but I do like this piece, and I almost love, like this looks good together, but I think I kind of like this. This yellow is like, whew, that's bold. I'm really liking these two pieces together, but I don't really like this with this. Like, I feel like I could use those two pieces, or I could use these two pieces. And this one isn't bad, but I'm afraid that unless I'm using like a whole row of this, you're not gonna realize what these icons are because they're so big, you know, and you're only gonna see like a piece of it. And thinking back on the layout, like where it shows the pattern paper, I mean, unless I would use it for the whole background, which you see what I'm saying? Like when part of it's kind of covered up, it's like, what are those exactly? So I really don't see myself using this side of the paper. It doesn't really work. I definitely like this. And I do like this, but I don't see myself using the three of these together because I don't know that I love this green next to this yellow. So here's what's going to be the deciding factor. Let's look at my pictures again and pull them back in here and see kind of where these pictures look. So I definitely, like, I mean, I've got the blues and grays. My daughter is wearing kind of some green pants. There's a lot of blues and grays and not the yellow in there. So I really think maybe going this direction works a little bit better. The one thing that kind of holds me back is it's like dots and circles. Like that's one of the things that I liked about these two pieces together, is it's a different pattern with that. But I don't know that I love the yellow. I don't know with it. Maybe in small amounts. Maybe I shouldn't write it off right away. The other thing I can do is kind of look through my stash and see what other maybe pattern papers I have that would go with this sheet. In this collection, we've got the colors are cranberry, canary, avocado, navy, and beige. And so I have pulled out some of each of those cardstocks. See how much better these photos look on a solid than on a pattern. Oh boy. Okay, so the red's not bad. Let's see. The yellow. The avocado. Here's the navy. And then the beige. And then we've got, I did pull out some bright white as well. So, okay. I think what I want to do is I want to go look through my stash a little bit and kind of see if I have some other pattern paper that would work well with this paper. If I were to use this piece, I could use it like where they did down, which is kind of like, looks like it is kind of like little yellow compasses or something along there. Because I do like this green is the right shade of green, where the avocado is a lot darker. It's a different shade of green. So I definitely like that, and maybe kind of separate those two. Because I'm looking for a total of 3 pieces. So now that doesn't mean that they all have to be pattern paper. I know they have labeled all designer paper on here, but I may want to, like 2 sheets of pattern paper and a sheet of cardstock would work really well with this. So, all right, I'm gonna go through my stash and pull some more paper to go with this collection and see what I come up with. Okay, I dug through my stash and I found some paper that I want to use. First of all, I found this piece. This is an old close to my heart paper that is from a mix-in. So it was just a collection that kind of coordinated with all the collections that were released in that 2-month period. But it has this really pretty kind of marbly texture on the background. And I think this is going to be really pretty for my base. And I like it with the green. I found this piece that I really liked the texture on it. I only had 1 sheet of it though. And then, so I kind of been just laying things out, and I really like, I think, this color scheme. I had actually pulled this orange from the This Life collection, and I really actually liked kind of how it looked in here as well, because there's definitely a lot of orange balls, the solid and the striped orange ball on some of the pictures and things like that. So this is kind of the color scheme that I'm working with that I like. So I really like where this is going. I kind of played around with what I wanted to mat the photos with, and I think I've settled on using the navy cardstock for my photo mats. I think I like that, helps the photos pop. I played with kind of a white photo mat. I actually went through all the colors in the collection. I love this green, but the avocado green cardstock really is not, this is more almost sagey than that. So I think I want to use this as my base, and I'm going to start by cutting off these little zip strips. This was something that Close to My Heart did with their pattern paper. On one side, you've got kind of a fun 1/2-inch border that we may use, because there are some 1/2-inch borders on this sketch. And then the other side kind of has the information about the collection. So like what it came from, what the featured colors were, that type of a thing. So I think the hardest thing sometimes about picking paper is that you only get to use, oh, well, what am I doing? It's a 1/4 inch. You only get to use one side of the paper. When I was looking through, I actually found a different piece that had kind of a texture like this one, but the back side of it I really, really like. And so I was like, you know what, when it came to choosing between the 2 sheets, it's not that I don't like the back of this one, but I really liked the back of the other one. So I was like, well, I'd rather sacrifice that back than the other pattern paper. So I kind of went with that one. All right, so now I do need to make sure if I'm adding a photo mat that I can still fit all my pieces on here. So we've got a 3.5 by 4 1/4. And so I think I'm gonna do 3 and, so I think I'm gonna do 4 1/2. So this is, and then 3.5, so 3 3/4. For the photo mat, for those 3 photos on the right hand page, which are these 3. Add those. Photo mats. Okay, the time I'm recording this is April, for our April collaboration. I actually just released my Hit the Road workshop. So, okay, so I've got these 3 photos. And I just want to account for that photo mats when I'm cutting my pattern paper here, which they did, you know what, they did the same size photo mats, so we should be good. That's good to know. Okay, the other 3 photos they did not do a photo mat for, so I need, they're 5.5, all 3 of them are 5.5 one direction, and so I need 5 3/4. And then 3.5, which means I need 3 3/4 for 2 of them. Yep. And then this one is 5.5, but it's 3 3/4 instead of 3.5. So I'm gonna need it to be 4 inches for my photo mat. I am definitely a photo mat believer person. Very rarely do I not mat my photos. And I would say 99% of the time I'm going to mat with a cardstock. Mainly because why would I want to cover up? I mean, not much of this mat is showing. Only it's a 1/4 inch bigger, so it's like a 1/2 or 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So not much of this is showing. So why would I want to use a pattern paper that's going to cover up? It's going to be mainly covered up. So the other reason is because I do, like, you know, you think when you mat artwork on your wall, very rarely do you mat with, like, you use a solid mat because so the picture pops up. It's to frame the picture. So, okay, let's cut into some pattern paper. So we have 3 different sheets of pattern paper here, or 3 different sheets of paper. Whether it's pattern or cardstock is totally up to me. So I have this yellow piece that they use that's going to be the borders across the top and front, and then a strip along here. And it's going to be directly behind my photos. So I want to keep that in mind, and across the top and bottom. So maybe this green, I'm going to move my paper trimmer. I'm going to pull over my right hand page here. So I could, and by the way, I can mix up. So if I want the pool balls to be my border across the top and bottom, or I could do the green polka dot. I've also got this orange. I think I'm leaning towards this green polka dot across the top, bottom, and right here. So I'm looking for this piece, and then this piece and this piece. And I do think I want to do the green polka dot, at least for these two pieces across here, for those two pieces. So let's cut those. I'm holding off on cutting the two strips. Okay, these are pieces R and S. So they are 5 inches wide. I am going to pay attention to the back side of this, just to make sure I cut. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be 5 inches wide. And then 10 1/4 and 1 3/4. So you're using that full strip. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna hold off on the strips across the top and bottom because I haven't decided for sure that's what I want. I may want the pool balls, actually. Okay, then I have this, make sure I'm on the camera. I have this piece back here, which is K, and J, R, and I, which are these pieces. I think for piece K, I actually want to use the pool ball paper. And I think I'm good to follow the cutting guide, because even though I've added the photo mats, piece K is 6.5 inches in height. Actually, this is maybe where I do want to use a little bit bigger, because my photo with the mat is 5 3/4, and I do want to make sure that a good amount of this is showing. So I think I'm going to add 1/2 inch, because when I stick that on there, yeah, I think I'm going to want to add 1/2 inch. So I did 7 inches, and this one is 10.5 and 1.5. So once again, you're going to use the whole piece. And it looks like it's going to go behind here. Sorry, my space isn't big enough to be building this on the same place where I'm cutting. So you guys always say you want to see me cut. Well, then you can't see me build the layouts. So. Okay, and now we just have piece J and the strips, so up here and here. So I'm going to pull this over so you can see where we're at. See how that's kind of coming together. this is going to be butted up against. Do I want the orange? Or do I want, let's see, let me pull the other piece layout here so you can kind of see what we're deciding on. Oh. You know what? I may do a little switcheroo. I think I want this piece to be out of this, and then that green. Popping out. Gonna switch it up. So this is piece R. And then, let's see, these pieces are, they're a 1/2 inch, but I remember how I made this a little longer, so I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. Oh, whoops. That was 1 3/4. Let's do really 3/4 of an inch. And they're 8 3/4 inch. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay, and then on the other side, this is where I wanted it. Theirs was the same, J was the same height as K, and I'm not going to want that. So I'm going to want it to be, my ruler. Six and a half. And it is 3/4 inches wide, which is actually what it calls for on the cutting guide, but I just made that piece longer on the other side. All right, let's bring what we've got so far here. Let's see how this is coming together. Make sure oh, you can see the full layout. Okay. Just gonna zoom out a little bit. All right, so everything's gonna keep moving around for a hot second till we get things glued down. The nice thing is I can use that repositionable adhesive and kind of tack everything down so it stops moving around on me. Okay, that is all of our center pieces here. And what we have left is these strips that go across the top and the bottom. And then we have the circle embellishment. Now, these are the things that I want to keep in mind. They've put some embellishments on these circles. So I'm going to want something that circle done and something that's going to, those embellishments are going to stand out on. So if I pull back onto my stickers, I have this shoot and pull that I definitely want to use. And so I can actually, and I'm probably going to pop it up with some 3D foam tape. So if I'm kind of repositioning stickers and things around, I'll either take off the sticky by using this, the chocolate, or I will go ahead and add my 3D foam tape to it so I don't have to worry about it sticking. Okay, so obviously this blue cardstock, that's going to pop really nice, that navy cardstock. So that could be a really solid option for my photos. I wouldn't mind bringing in a little bit more of this paper. We've got this Rack 'em Up, which I really like. And then some of these that I could use. I really like this. So in the sketch or the recipe, they've used the same pattern on the top and the bottom, which is really nice because it does frame your pictures or for the layout. But I may want to use a different pattern on the top than I do on the bottom. The other thing I want to point out is that they've used A and O, which is, looks like it's 3/4 inch wide and A is 1.5 inches. So that's like 2 1/4 inches wide for that bottom strip. Now, the nice thing about that is that gives me a nice big wide, because they had that punch. I'm not using a punch, but what I may be using is a really nice thick border here, and then maybe these pool balls, which I do actually think I might want them across the top, and maybe with like the green stripe up here, or the green polka dot up here, and then the pool balls. Or I do have where I could add the orange across the top, and then the pool balls. So here's another trick. I'm going to take this off, this sticker off, and I'm going to take my chalk thingy and I'm going to take the sticky off of this. Just rub it on here to take the sticky off. This way I can kind of lay it out on my layout without having to worry about it sticking, so I can kind of move it around. Okay, so I can do something like that, which would be cute. I can add this orange, which I'm kind of leaning away from adding that bright orange. I also, nope, I don't want to do that. I would actually probably like the blue framing, but I really do think the circle, because see how well that pops off of there versus that. I'm kind of leaning towards doing the polka dot. You get a smaller piece there. This is like 3/4 of an inch. Something like that. Okay, and I think I want to do the strip across the top in this green, which that, according to this, is piece N and P, which are just each 3/4 of an inch. All right, here is those two strips. I actually want to turn them around because then the piece that is more cut off is on the other side. There we go. That's looking good. Let's cut our circle. So our circle is piece M, and it may not tell us the size of the circle. Let's see if in here it does. For piece M, use the outside of the medium cutting system circle pattern with the red blade to cut one circle. Okay, so pull out my custom cutting system. It's using, they said, the medium, which would be this one. And it said to use the circle pattern with the red, okay, outside of the medium. So outside, so it's a 5-inch circle. Outside of the red medium, outside of the medium, red blade, cut one circle. All right, here we go. We gotta move things again. Medium, red blade, and I'm gonna want that navy blue. Let's see if this piece of scrap is going to fit. Yes, ma'am. Love that. So I can lay that on there and see that that's going to fit. which is perfect. I love using my scraps. That's the best. Instead of cutting into a new sheet of cardstock. So I have to tell you, this cutting system, I use it all the time in my scrapbooking. It has been a game changer for me. I definitely, it's just so fast. Like I can cut circles with my Cricut for sure. For sure. I can cut all the circles I want. But did you see how fast that was? Like that is a lot faster than getting onto Design Space, cutting it out. And it's done. Okay. Then it said cut the circle about 1/3 of the way through. So it's kind of like a 1/3, 2/3 type thing. Bring this back in. I just want to make sure. I'm going to use the smaller one down here. And there's a chance I might end up, we'll see. So we're going to cut it 1/3, 2/3. So it's a 5-inch circle. So obviously 2.5 is the middle. So 2 inches and 3 inches would be kind of a, that equals 5. I really like the addition of circle elements to a layout. I think it really adds a lot. Now I feel like that probably wasn't a perfect 1/3, 2/3, I don't know. Anyways, that's what we did. It's good. Okay. Let's see. We've got this bottom piece, I think is the last little bit that we need to cut. Okay, I ended up doing 1 3/8. And then I'm going to cut 1/8 of an inch of the dark blue. And stick that along the bottom there. Okay. And then we are to the point where we've got all of our paper pieces cut, and I'm gonna glue it down, and then we're gonna embellish it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down off camera and then come back and embellishment, just for the sake of a little bit of time, just saving a little bit of time here. So, all right, I will be right back. Okay. We are all glued down. I did want to point out I made a little switch. You know how originally I was planning on using this? When I went to glue it down, I turned it over, and I actually decided I really liked the addition of this pattern. And so I glued it down this direction instead, which I think that's the kind of the fun thing about scrapbooking is, look at both sides of your paper more. So I really actually prefer this pattern over this, and it is a little bit more gray tones, and so yeah, I switched it. All right, now we are ready to embellish our layout. Now, as far as what the sample shows, we did have the journaling here, so I'm going to need to put it in a different place because I had a photo there. And then they've got 3 clusters here that are kind of making like a little bit of a triangle. So that's awesome. All right. As far as this circle, I actually probably will want to trim this up just a little bit, maybe like a 1/2 inch. I don't know. I mean, it's not bad that it's interacting here. We'll see. We'll see. I may decide to trim it, and that's totally an option. All right, let's look at what we've got embellishment wise. I did like this rack 'em up. And I want to put that on some 3D foam tape. I do buy 3D foam tape like by the spool. And I like a thin 3D foam tape because I do want dimension, but I also don't want too bulky. And I was thinking, I really liked this embellishment right here, which is the balls all racked up. So I'm gonna actually take off the sticky off this, because what I'm thinking, so I can kind of lay things out. Now, if you're really good at just being able to be like, yep, this is where I'm putting it and done, go you. I'm not. So I'm thinking I kind of want this to kind of interact here. Something like that. And I keep going back and forth whether I want to trim that off. It's kind of hard to tell where it's sitting with it out, with it not trimmed though. Somewhere in there. I like that. And then that means I'm going to want to put the shooting pool either down here or up here possibly. Because that's kind of my title. It's a little bit of a small title for what I prefer usually, but I tend to like a bigger title. But we've got this cute Let's Roll. Just chillin', winner, lucky, awesome, just the boys, which doesn't work because it's my daughter. Royal flush, cheers, game night. This Let's Roll is cute, and it's gonna pop really nicely on the blue, that dark blue, navy blue, which is definitely why I wanted to use that for my circle, because I knew it was going to help keep my embellishments. Which this Let's Roll is kind of nice up here as well, because it's more in the yellow, and so it doesn't get lost on that green. So that can be cute. Something like that. I do have these 2 huge cue sticks, which I think could be kind of fun. Either I'm going to take the adhesive off again so that I can kind of play around with what I'm thinking. I'm thinking is that they would look really good kind of crisscrossing each other up here. One of the things I have really enjoyed about Creative Memories is because they are releasing collections like a couple times a month. It's kind of fun that they are able to do a lot more theme specific collections. You know what I mean? Like this collection. This obviously is not going to apply like to a huge audience like the pool and I mean this has a variety. It has the cards and the dice and the darts and the axe throwing and the pool. So there's definitely a variety on this collection, but it definitely is more of a customized unique collection to just more of a smaller audience, like amount of scrapbookers, but because they're doing so many collections, I really like that. They're able to do some of these like maybe a smaller run, I guess you could say, with more like unique themed collections. And that is super nice. I've really enjoyed that. All right, we've got this shooting pool down here. And I want to make sure that this is kind of offset. Like I don't want it in line. Like I don't want it in line with this one up here. So I definitely like how that's looking. I don't know that I want it to overlap too much. I think I want it just like right in there. I think that's kind of a fun embellishment there. I like that it interacts with the photo a little bit. Oh, I think that's too far down. I like that. This is looking really good. Very happy with how this is turning out. All right, I've got a couple of more little pool balls on here. And these little stars. And I think that that's going to just kind of be almost like an embellishment on here. So let's commit. I'm going to put this about 2 3/4 of an inch from the edge. I'll stick that there. I like how that interacts. Okay, let's add some adhesive to these. I was pretty sure I was gonna like that, but it's good to, I like to be able to lay things out and kind of adjust and tweak and those type of things. Be careful once you stick that on there. Once it's stuck, peeps. All right. There we go. That's looking good. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Am I going to trim it off? Or am I going to, I think I'm going to trim off just maybe 1/4 of an inch. Sorry about that, my puppy wants in. All right, actually I don't want it, I want to scoot it over a little more. How cute is that? Okay. Now, do I want to add a few of these cute little stars? Kind of thinking in triangle shape, you know what I mean? I feel like this green one might be the smallest, so I want it up here. It's cute. And where I put some on that side, I want to go ahead and put some over here as well. I don't know that I want a third one, because I feel like that's almost too big. Yep. I have a little black one. I actually think I like it with just the two. And I don't think I'm going to put any down there. All right. One last thing I think I'm going to do is I want to sponge the edges of this. It just kind of softens my cut edges. I like the look of that. Helps kind of frame the edges where I do have quite a bit of pattern and a little bit of the white showing, like from the cut edges. little bit of a soft finish. And there we go. My layout is all done. Look how pretty that is. I like how it turned out. All right, let's kind of take a look at what we did. Here was the original recipe. I didn't deviate too much. I did cut piece K, I think about a 1/2 inch taller or in height. And then that gave piece J, I did cut the same, but that made it so that it wasn't the same height as this piece here. So not sure how the math worked out on that, because I did both of them. Well, because it doesn't look like I did. I don't know why. Maybe I cut that one bigger. I don't know. I did cut it a little bit different, a little bit wider, so I had a little bit more showing. I did kind of switch up, like my top and bottom borders don't match. This one I think I did a little bit wider. But other than that, I really didn't deviate from the sketch, which I wasn't thinking I would. Oh, you know what I didn't add is some journaling. Let's see. I would say that for me, there's not a lot to talk about in this story, other than like Michaela and Jason enjoying an evening of pool and the date. And so what I would probably do is take out one of these write-on stickers. I don't know if I have a piece of scrap white. I do. And if anything, I will just add some stickers right down here with my journaling on it. So just even a couple of pieces down here. And that's all I'm going to need for journaling. So that's where I would put my journaling on here. Like I said, I don't have a lot to say about, there's not like a big story for this. It's all names of people and the date is all I'm going to need to put on this one. So, all right, I think that's it. Now make sure that you go and watch Kimberly's video. I am sure she will do something amazing. She always does. And maybe she'll really deviate from the sketch and you'll get a totally different look. I will put a link to her video in the description below. And thank you again for coming and watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing both of our YouTube channels. We're both very passionate scrapbookers and memory keepers, and we really appreciate that you take time to watch our videos and comment and like and subscribe and all the good things. And other than that, I'm going to sign off, and as always, happy scrapbooking.